Okay, hello, everybody. Hopefully, you all can hear me. A few of you out there. Let's see here. Okay. Yes. Well, this cinematic orchestra music. All right. What's going on, everybody? Today, I'm gonna have a special little stream and talk to someone new. We've got Mr. Joyful Danish. I believe his name is Daniel, and he's going to be on. He is a psychotherapist, and I believe he's living in Lisbon, Portugal. I'm also a therapist, so this should be an interesting conversation. And I've noticed that there's something about therapists and PulseChain that is I don't know. Therapists seem to like PulseChain for some reason. So I'm going to talk to Daniel a little bit here. Bring him on. Let's see here. And we're going to find out about him. Therapists seem to like PulseChain for some. Okay. All right. Daniel, can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Welcome, my friend. Do you prefer Daniel?
Sure. I mean,
or Joyful Danish? What should I call you?
Whatever you, vibe with is fine. It's all good.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay, I'll call you Daniel. It seems easier.
Yeah, it is more short.
Yes. Well, welcome here, man. I thought it would be a good idea so we can, talk about, you're a psychotherapist, right? And
I'm a psychomotor therapist.
Psychomotor therapist. Okay. Very good.
Yeah. I work with the body and the mind dynamic.
The body and the mind. Absolutely. They all work together, don't they?
That's my experience so far.
Yeah. No, that's true. It is body, mind. What happens in the mind affects the body and vice versa. So, absolutely. Well, welcome here, and I thought it'd be interesting since I'm a psychotherapist, so we're kind of similar field. I mean, I don't use the term psychomotor therapist, but there, of course, is always some kind of psychosomatic element to everything that we do.
Right.
So there's always that. So let's see. Let's talk about you and how you came to be in PulseChain and in your onboarding story. How long you've been on? Tell me about that.
Sure. I mean, I think like many people, it often is because you know a guy or you have a friend or somebody that's already in crypto, and then eventually, okay, well, you should try to look in this as well. Okay, and eventually, maybe you get a helping hand from that person, and then eventually you start to, as the phrase goes, do your own research. Eventually learn the ropes, and you'll go from there. And it is kind of a crazy journey, isn't it? I remember when I started in crypto, it's like you're on your own. Nobody cares, like when you start to be there for a while, and it can be quite stressful and whatnot. And it's his own language, his own world. And surely that was the same thing with the whole pulsing community and whatnot. Like every community in crypto is like their own little clan, I think it was like DCC, dollar cost crypto, that Miguel that said like crypto is like what can you say? It's like a mix of religion and investing and football clubbing fans. Those three combination, and I kind of get it, to some extent. with the exception that usually you will then feel that you somehow are connected to this community. Like in a group, you talk with each other, you support each other and whatnot. As that we can maybe dive into at a later point, but at least that I find kind of interesting from a therapist perspective, um, because for the most part, it's still about people try to make money.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but when it comes to all this knowledge sharing and like, okay, these different ideas, and Richard Hart was certainly trying to share that from an early time on, even before going into the crypto industry.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the short story was like it was actually a friend named the same as me, Daniel, also from Denmark, and yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I was very skeptic, and eventually he did this genius thing that I've heard other people do this since as well. When I became 30, he gave me a bunch of some of his tokens he had at the time, and then he said
Mm-hmm.
like you can just transfer as a fiat wise normally, and then I'll do the process in the beginning, and then
Mm-hmm.
you can call a ride, but then please start to do this on your own,
Yeah.
learn it. It's actually a great way to do it because there was not really any excuse then. Like, boom, we started. And yeah, that's kind of how I started, and I still forever grateful for that
So
helping hand, and
he did the onboarding for
yeah,
you.
because yeah, as a held me by my side, and then like, okay, now we're going to do this. So we're going to create the wallet, we're going to do this and so on, and here's the
Yeah.
tokens, and boom, you started now. Try to
Awesome.
slowly learn the lingo, figure out what this is all about. There's a lot to uncover, but do it in your own pace. And I'll kid you not, I think the first half a year to a year was just YouTube videos trying to slowly dissect the language. Because there's so many terms, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it takes a while to
It
understand them,
does.
and then
Yeah.
slowly connect the dots. Like, okay, because I really see it like as a foreign country with
Yeah.
its own language and rules and whatnot. Um, so yeah, it takes some time, but I think that's the short version of it. So I got into crypto
Yeah.
like in 2018. Yeah,
Yeah. So 2018. So you went through the last the 2021 the bull market there.
right.
Okay.
Yeah, and I
So
think that was
you
crucial. Oh yeah, go
yeah.
on.
Well, I was just gonna say you have a similar experience to me, because when my being a therapist, all of my experience in education is toward like um, all of the theories, the concepts, the terminology of psychotherapy, and so learning about crypto is literally like a whole new language, and
Yeah,
it takes a lot of time. I had to do to like couple of phone calls lasting hours long. And actually, who onboarded me was actually a client of mine, and they wanted to pay me in crypto. So they spent a lot of time explaining it to me, hours and hours, because I was just like, how is this not a scam? There's no tangible
right.
thing here that I own. Like, what the heck is this? This just seems like there's nothing, and everyone's just putting their money into nothing. And what do you own? Like, okay, I don't get it. So it took me a long time too. So it's good, you have similar experience to me. And yeah, I'm wondering if that's how it is for probably a lot of therapists. It's a whole new world.
It is. It
Yeah.
is. I even included in my book I use with my clients. Like, there's a whole section, like about I don't know 70 pages. That is like I call from crypto to human.
Yeah.
Just a pure dictionary. Two versions. One is the in crypto words explained what's that term means, and then the other one is purely only in human language, non-crypto terms.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
because that's what I noticed, and maybe you've done the same observation. If people have tend to be in crypto quite some time, they stop speaking human. So when I talk to a person that's not
Yeah.
in crypto at all, they
Yeah.
stop to actually being able to like, okay, how can I explain this? Because then they still tend to use other crypto words to try to explain that one crypto word that person
Right.
doesn't understand.
Right.
So
Exactly.
again, as a therapist, that's sort of like what I could see. And I think that's the potential we have as a therapist as well. We can see the gap, the human gap. Hey,
Hmm.
Hello, people.
She
How are you
showed. She
doing?
came. Okay.
And
Hey,
here I
Daniel.
am.
Yeah. Yeah.
welcome.
How are you
Uh,
doing, guys?
Good.
good.
And you?
Good.
Glad
We're
to
just.
hear that.
Yeah. Daniel, go and Fit. You were just sharing about the crypto language and
Yes, I was
how people
listening.
become non-human.
Daniel, I feel so identified with you. I don't know which one mentioned that it took so long to learn about the technicalities of the language of crypto. Oh my gosh, it was a journey as well. I'm still
It is
I'm still on
crazy.
that journey. Okay, I'm still on that journey.
Yeah.
But
And it's
yes,
still
it
a
was.
journey.
Yeah.
It really
Yeah.
is.
Yeah,
Too.
and I feel
And I think,
identified with a post not long ago Richard Hart did complaining about how we use like this kind of I don't know technical not technical language. Sorry guys for my I'm very shy with my pronunciation. Like I'm not a shy person on camera,
It's
but just with
okay.
my pronunciation. So he was saying that he was complaining that we use all not me, right? But like the people that someone that created this language that they started to use like I don't know fiat or certain other words or things that you could say more straightforward. He was complaining that just adds more layers and layers of complication to onboarding people, regular people that knows nothing about the crypto, technology, trading, and he's so right because it's one of the first things I saw when I started doing crypto. Like, why do they need to use new terminology for things that already exist, for terminology that already exists, and it's using more colloquial language, and everyone already knows. So I
Hmm.
completely agree with him about that.
And then you could add the reality that not everyone speaks the same language overall. So
And on top of
that's
all of that, I
a
think
whole nother element.
yes, I already also wrote that reply back that to
Yeah.
Richard Hart. Like I'm not a native English speaker. I need to
Mhm.
learn the proper English, grammatically speaking, vocabulary speaking. Then on top of all of
Mhm.
that, the technicalities of
Mhm.
English in different settings, and on top of all of that, the made up English that the crypto people uses,
Mhm.
and on top of all of that, the
Yeah.
I don't want to say it because it's kind of like it sounds bad, but I don't. It's I promise it's not my fault. Is that I still have like a broken English, like kind of like the ghetto crypto language. And it's
Mhm.
like okay, like I'm dying here, I'm dying. This is too much. How are we supposed to
It's a
onboard
lot.
people
Right.
when everyone needs to learn all of this? On top of that, many people won't want to learn. We will be like, okay, till technical language, okay, makes sense, more or less.
Mhm.
Even if I don't have time for that. But ghetto
Maybe
language,
maybe
we really
AI
need
can
that.
maybe AI can change Richard Chart his videos and put it in different languages for everybody. That would be cool,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
yeah.
I agree.
Wh-
Yes,
what's your native language? Uh,
Spanish.
Spanish. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Dana, is it Dana or is that how am I saying it right?
You can say whatever you want. I
Whatever
don't
you
have that
prefer.
kind of sensitivity.
Whatever you prefer.
I don't have a preference, honestly.
Okay. No worries. Okay. Hmm. Yeah. Do you want to talk a little bit about yourself and any part of the crypto journey you want to?
I can speak in general terms if you want. I don't want to really go into so much into details, but I get into crypto. I got into crypto maybe like 5, 6 years ago, but I wasn't in this crypto that I'm right now. In this one, I started like about a year or so ago. So I'm learning about this one. because I think cryptos can be also be slightly different one to each other. And sorry, one second. Okay. Sorry, I'm getting distracted in here. There's people in the house. Why don't you check on your computer, please? We're trying to make a streaming here with. Sorry about that.
Priorities.
They're trying to. They're like admiring me from my own computer. Go to your computer. Sorry, that was fun.
That's
I didn't
okay.
mean to be funny.
No worries.
So yeah, I started like not long ago with this one, and I don't know. I'm kind of fascinated with this crypto, the one from the Richard Hart community in reality, and I think I got kind of like sucked into the whole of Richard Hart community. Because unlike other cryptos, I found that there is like a strong sense of community, regardless of like what you call like all the fights that happen or scandals. But yeah, I'm fascinated by it, and I'm still trying to understand it. I'm still trying to understand the concept that Richard Hart is trying to portray with this kind of crypto. But yeah, it's kind of fascinating. And the fact that there is so many activities that we do in group, and there is so, sorry, I don't have all the words in English, but that there is so encouraged that we get to know each other and meet in person, and we actually get to trust in the community to counteract this idea, general idea in the entire world, right, that crypto is a scam, and that we cannot really, you cannot really create a community. Like this idea that capitalists and businesses are always going to be a bad thing, right? That if, whatever you involve money is going to be a bad thing. Like almost like if 90% of the people in the world didn't know that there is a concept called ethical business, right? So yeah, it's a very, very interesting concept. And also, well, like due to my career, like you guys as a therapist, in my case, I studied psychiatry in Argentina. Not psychology. I didn't start with psychology, I started with psychiatry. But in Argentina, the influence of psychology is like very strong. So mostly psychoanalysis. So I have a lot of formation in psychoanalysis, Freudian and Lacanian. I don't know how to pronounce it in English. It's Lacaniano and Freudiano. So like seeing the interactions of people in a crypto community is super challenging and exciting. I'm not gonna lie. I know people is always dying every day. It seems like they're like fainting and the world is falling apart into pieces. It's just very interesting. See the ups and downs of the people daily, following a long time, you know, like making a longitudinal study of the community. It's fun.
Yeah, people are definitely emotional with the ups and downs, and a lot of times we can get into this more some other time.
A lot of personality traits, a lot of things happening. It's fascinating. It's honestly fascinating. And then there are also things that are really sad, right? You see like people that's going through really horrible times, hard times, and even people taking like not the majority, right? At least not that is posted online, but some people taking like really definitive decisions. And yeah, that's also like interesting to observe. But in my case, it calls more to action. Like in those cases are not for me just to watch, observe, and advise. I feel like if we could do more about it, it will be good, because if we are creating a sense of community, we should use that specifically for people that actually needs a community the most, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So you kind of led into the next thing I wanted to ask you guys about, and I'll start with myself, and that is, there's the crypto world overall. Obviously there's Big Daddy Bitcoin, right? And then you have Ethereum and Solana and a lot of altcoins, right? So what made you both, I guess all of us, narrow it down to really liking the PulseChain, the blockchain, the community, and all that? Because obviously this is I would say this is still a very small part of the crypto world. I mean, we're relatively esoteric, I think. Um, most people haven't heard of PulseChain. Like, we talked to not the Daniel, not like the crypto tech, using the technical crypto word people, but just regular humans probably don't know PulseChain, right? Just
Right.
talking. Um, so yeah, for me it was uh I had done Bitcoin before, and it was, just kind of like a really passive, like, just put some money in it and whatever, but not really seeing like the the real benefits, and how it can positively affect not only my personal life, but just the world and how we do money, and freedom too. I'm big on freedom. So when I started understanding more about um, why PulseChain was so important, and part of it is the true decentralization of it. That there's no middleman. There's no um, you don't have to, like, even now you can just put money from your bank and go on to I think like OX Coast or whatever, and then put it straight on. You don't have to go through Coinbase or Kraken or these other exchanges even now, which is even better. But I like that, and I like the privacy part of it too. There's no one has to know what I'm doing, right? No one has to. I don't need people to see every transaction I do. I don't want to have my personal identity doxed, Um, and when you're on a centralized exchange, like we saw Coinbase the other day, right? They got hacked. That can happen. So that was a big part of it for me. Is I wanted to keep going into it, and I'm staunch lover of freedom, freedom of movement, freedom of speech, and that's like PulseChain. That's like the place I wanted to be. It's like this represents the ideas that I hold as well. Um, and so yeah, started watching YouTube videos and different content creators. I was like, yeah, this aligns with my values very much. So that's kind of for me. Yeah. What about, let's see, Daniel? What for you made you decide PulseChain out of all the crypto?
Yeah. As there are many aspects to it, right? Some of the if I have to say a little bit some new stuff from what you said, because I could say the same thing. I will also say like that as a the community is kind of interesting as well, right? And how the way it's built,
Mhm.
the IPFS was definitely ahead of its curve, security wise as well, as you mentioned. Um, you can run it from your computer. You don't have to, just like with Bitcoin in the old days, and like often like Richard Hart talked about, you kind of get some similar ideas to that when you simply can download some software, and then suddenly, boom, if the website ever should go down, you can still run it locally from your PC.
Mhm.
Um, so the way that it was has been ongoing, because it was a long process before it finally launched, um, but it works. I mean, it hasn't been hacked, and it has, to my awareness, 100% uptime. And I could see what happened to his previous project. And in general, if we
Mhm.
just speak conservatively, pretty much any layer one do okay. Um, so I thought like, okay, um, as all things put together, I think there still is a lot of potential. And then back to like the community thing, right? Because again, it could just die out if it was anyone else,
Hmm.
because it has been a pretty long time so far. But when you look at like pretty much most of the people who are in PulseChain is also the previous community that were in Hex. And when you look at the track record of stuff that has been happening, sure, good and bad. But if we take the good stuff, that kind of also gives some character to like what kind of community are you actually
Hmm.
interacting with. As
Yeah.
movies got made, we sponsored NASCAR rally, which even won actually, the Hex car. You know,
I've
then there
seen
was
that.
the Space Diamond that got the change to the Hex.com Space Diamond.
Yeah.
That was a nice
Yeah.
little marketing as well, but that was an extra thing, sure. Back to community, we have rappers, we have music,
We
about
have
Hex,
rappers. Yeah.
Pulsechain. We have rappers, and we
Yep.
have YouTubers like yourself, like over
Yeah.
60 plus something YouTubers. There's a lot,
Over 70, I
and
think. Yeah.
yeah, it's a lot. So there's a lot of people, free
Yeah.
books, okay, from Richard Hart and so on. But there's also other people who do different stuff. Raised the 28 million to longevity. That was kind of nice too, right? We
Hmm.
even sponsored a football team in UK.
Oh,
That was
okay.
kind of interesting as well. Yeah, that was some time
I
back.
haven't seen that.
So some of these, yeah, well, it is a while back, but it's just kind of interesting to see like that a lot of thing happens during, sure, after its peak, the first run up for Hex. A lot of things still got created and got done, and as a there really have been some I think a lot of YouTubers actually helped a lot of people to get through to this stage, where it seems like slowly we're getting to a more positive up times, it seems, but we'll
Hmm.
see.
Hopefully.
But that has been important, hopefully.
Mhm.
We'll see. But during
See?
that hardship, and being down for so long, years,
Yeah.
that kind of tells you something, what kind of audience you are with,
I think it's
So
only
yeah,
growing too. I think even though it's been going down, I think the
yeah,
pulse chain community is actually growing, which is really interesting. So it speaks to more than the identity of the community is not attached to the price go up or the price go down.
Yeah,
It's
that's kind of
something much
fascinating.
deeper than that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
right.
fascinated with this community. I'm still working and understanding it, but I love it. And in my case, I feel like before getting to PulseChain, I was doing a little bit of crypto, but I wasn't as invested because it was more like an individual thing, right? Like, okay, people get into crypto because, you cannot trust the government, so do your own thing. But I didn't feel like there was like this sense of unity. And then I watched the movie of this guy, Kitty Cat or something like that, the trader that he created, kind of like of a sense of community in a kind of like not organized way, and he achieved so much. And I had this idea that if we don't create an alternative community that we can trust each other, how are we gonna make it, right? Especially growing up in a third world country where like governments, honestly, like speaking in a very colloquial way, they screw you all the time. They literally screw you all the time. Your families, your money, your friends, everything. So like what I noticed from like regular people, like average people, is that the average Joe is that they're like, oh well, that's how it is, and no one takes action. And I'm like, oh no, this is my life. This is the only life I'm gonna have. What do I have to lose? Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And also, like when
Yeah.
you take no action, governments are always making you lose. It's like I got tired. I was like, no, I wasn't born for this. If other people can
And
accept
this is
them,
this is
it's
in
up to them.
Argentina, right? You're
Yeah.
from Argentina? Okay.
Yeah, we live like 40 years of a kind of like populist government, which is not true. They were very capitalistic and stealing money from the people constantly and brainwashing with ideology and this and that, and like a disaster.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the other thing too is that it's interesting because obviously Richard Hart is the central figure of PulseChain, and he created it, right? And like Daniel say, with Hex, you could see with that coin. Obviously, I think he's a genius. I think people have called him the smartest person in crypto, and I think so. People have also said because of his marketing, he's like the Donald Trump of crypto, right? And
Well, yeah,
you
he's
know,
funny.
love
He's
or
kind
hate
of funny.
Donald Trump, he knows how to get attention,
Mm-hmm.
and definitely Richard Hart does that. But I think he's on an IQ level that's way above anything that I'm close to, and most people that I watch streaming, most people I interact with every day. Like, he's clearly brilliant,
Yeah.
and that one of the things was that I knew, like, all right, if I'm part of this blockchain, this community, not only is this guy a genius and he knows what he's doing, and he's creating something that aligns with my values, but I can tell the difference between someone who's trying to scam me and someone who's using their genius, their brilliance to make the world better.
Yeah,
And
I
that's
think
what
in current times, it's politically speaking, it's very controversial. I noticed that. It's weird, but it happens. To me, I agree with you. For me, like to me, to admire someone or like agree with someone, you don't need to be intelligent, right, or brilliant. Right. In any case, I also have to have like good ethical values, right? Because brilliance or high level of intelligence, if you don't combine that with an interesting level of ethics or values, some level of communal transcendence, not transcendence, just individual transcendence, but communal transcendence, it doesn't really work. At least not for like a more interesting world change. I know I'm not trying to go hyperbolic in here. I'm just saying that if we are aspiring to that, short, medium, or long term, to me, that's fundamental.
Yeah. Yeah, intelligent people can still manipulate you and steal your money and scam you. That doesn't mean they're going to use it for good.
Exactly.
But Richard Hart posts all the time about watching.
Yeah, there is a lot of admiration here in the United States and maybe also in other countries about the people just because they are intelligent or because they I don't know, they create or do certain things in a good way, but then they have horrible values. And I'm like, why are admiring someone that if that person could, they would like step on you with their foot, with their boots. Like, why are like they don't care about you, It's like
yeah, that's right.
That's very dangerous. A lot of admiration I see here for people that really deserves zero admiration. Horror in any case, more than admiration. Yeah.
You want to jump in, Daniel?
No, not for only maybe to remember one extra thing for the previous question, like why PulseChain. Well, I do know that sure, for 2 years there was a great uncertainty. Like, I mean, is it the security and the lawsuit and everything? But now it's even more superior to most tokens, because it's even one of the few that even not just got their case thrown away by the SEC, but got lost by the SEC because it was so weak. The evidence that tried to come up with, both for Hex, Pulse, and PulseX. So that is as a landslide right there. So yeah, it is going to be quite interesting to see in the future. Yeah, but I just wanted to throw that in there.
That's that's really big. They're calling it regulatory certainty, and that's important, especially here in the States. Because no one wants to. It's just so ambiguous the laws and what's legal and not a lot of times, but it's a lot more clear with PulseChain, a lot more clear than any other uh, blockchain or coin. So, yeah, I agree with you. And
But it didn't used to be like that for many
no,
years, and the same with Hex. He was ridiculed, and again, because Richard Hart is a character, sure, and
yeah,
it can be hard to distinguish. I remember I even thought that in the beginning as well. Okay, I see something, but if I don't
yeah,
see it and just listen to what actually being said and trying to give some time, you will actually notice that okay, he actually has some good points, and
yeah,
he definitely knows a lot of stuff, and it takes time to digest and slowly process that. But if you just see him from the first blank, uh, it can be easy to judge like, okay, this I don't know what I should possibly
yeah.
be reasoning to interact with this.
Yeah, I
Right.
like the difference between marketing and like the philosophy. Right?
Hmm.
Because
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So
I'm
that's the other
also
thing.
not interested in brand clothing or like buying diamonds and stuff like that. But I do like his book. I'm reading it, and it's
Yeah,
very interesting. All of his thought
yeah.
process and
This,
his values. You can see that
Hmm.
they're there, and the rest you realize,
yeah,
well, maybe it's his taste, which he's entitled. I have plenty of friends that love, I don't know, Dolce Gabbana, Gucci, and stuff like that. You're entitled. You make the
Yeah.
money, you're entitled, period. I don't care. I don't need it. I don't need that. I'm zero interested, but they're interested and they're in the right. And could be that, could be marketing. I don't know.
Hmm.
yeah. Yeah, and otherwise you can just listen to it as an audiobook, from a wild HJ, that
Mhm.
also band us together. So shout out to her.
Yeah.
She's great. She's so great. Oh my gosh. There's
Yeah.
so
She
many
is
amazing
very
people in this community. I wish
positive.
more people knew about this.
Yeah. Well, that's this. Yeah, it's interesting the story how uh I actually met her, and um for about a year I was watching all the streamers and really getting into everything Hex, Pulse Chain, and Pulse X and everything. And I'm just like buying every week. I'm putting a little bit of money every weekend, and but then they had the in-person Pulse Chain conference in Las Vegas in March this year, and I decided like, all right, I'm gonna go to that and actually meet some of these people in person because I'm in California and Vegas is not too far away. So I said, oh, let's go do it. And then I went, and I can't tell you there is a huge difference between watching everybody on YouTube and X and everything than seeing him in person. Um, because you can really feel the community, you feel the energy of it, and everybody really does want to be helpful and friendly and onboard new people. There's not like a weird sometimes there's a weird clickiness, and a group of people have been together a long time. And I didn't feel that at all. Um I in fact I ended up winning some they had like some like raffle thing there, and I ended up winning it, and it was like I forget how much, like a couple $100 of Pulse or something. And I think it was a wild that she presented it to me at the conference, like in front of everybody, and I got talking to her, and you could just tell, like they call her the positivity princess, and there's a reason why. She's like always smiling, even in person. She's smiling. She's trying to reframe things all the time in a way that is looking forward and helping people, and a lot of the community is like that. And that's the whole separate thing from who Richard Hart is, and him founding it, and the values of it. Separate from all that, even, is the community is just different. Like you don't see crypto communities like this. Everyone just
No.
wants to make money on each other.
Yes, and also like there is this big uh, how will I say it? Sorry, it's not that I don't know. If I take a pause, it's because I'm looking the words in English, and sometimes I don't find it, and I use some
That's
synonymo.
okay.
Synonymo? I don't know how to say it in English. Okay, analogy.
Analogy, synonymous, maybe.
Synonymous. Okay, sorry about that. Like there is a lot of paranoia in crypto, and rightfully, right? Because there have happened like you need to be careful with business in general, right? They put all of this negativity in crypto or trading, when in reality it's like you have to be careful in every business, right? Who you partner with, where do you put your money, to be, proactive on it. And I feel like when you do crypto or trading, you're your own boss. Like you say, someone of you mentioned at the beginning, you're on your own. And I feel like most people that get into trading or crypto, they are not ready for that. They just start like a game, and they are not ready to take ownership of their life. Like it's like they still have this slave mentality. Sorry to say it, but they still have this slave mentality, and you can see it with these like meltdowns that they have constantly, and they're like criticizing someone else for what is happening to them, or I be scam, or like you promised this, and I'm like, no, you need to understand that when you get into crypto or trading or a business, you set up a business, it's you. You are your owner. You are the owner of this. So you need to take accountability and responsibility daily. So that's the kind of personality that you have to build for this.
Yeah.
And you can see that people, slow by slow, they start building it. And others not. Others are like these chronic complainers that is like, okay, then go and work for someone else. No, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know how to help you to get your freedom.
Right.
If your
Give me my
freedom
money now. I want it now.
Yeah, how do you? I don't know how to help you
When Lambo?
to achieve your freedom if you don't. If you
Lambo
cannot.
now.
If you can actually not tolerate your freedom, because there is this delusional idea that freedom is a paradise where you're just having margaritas on the beach. No, that freedom is something you have to build day by day by yourself.
It doesn't mean everything's handed to you.
Not at all. That will be like, I don't know, a welfare utopian country that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
But even if you get it, doesn't even mean that it's going to be good times, Sudden wealth syndrome, that's a thing, One of the things that I really find interesting
I don't
is
know
actually...
what is that, the sudden wealth syndrome.
Well, let me explain it to you then.
Perfect.
If you... because what I actually have been doing for quite a while now, when I had clients, I actually tried to map out the different stress signs that being shared from my clients in both categories, in the bear markets and in the bull market, and to slowly gather data about, okay, this is how complex it actually is, Okay, but why am I so tired and I'm so stressed and I can't sleep and life is not nice, And you keep postponing it because you're hoping this coin is going to save your life, but you don't really know if it's going to happen. And you're actually paying the highest price is the stress.
That's the cost. That's the cost.
That's the cost. But
the
like
stress,
high risk, high reward
Yep.
is also equal to high stress. And many people forget that. Well, that's a different extended topic, but back to the sudden wealth syndrome. It's when suddenly you actually get what you actually really wanted. Suddenly, like you see lottery winners, right? If you've seen some of those studies, it's the same thing.
Yes.
They get suddenly too much money.
Absolutely.
They haven't adapted mentally to that sudden wealth. So that's where it comes from. Sudden wealth syndrome. Suddenly it happened to you. But did you prepare for it? Do you know how to handle it? Have you set a wealth manager in place? Have you blabbered too much about suddenly you have millions and to friends and family, and suddenly you get all these weird business opportunities. Oh, you could, hey, can I borrow some money for this business I have idea? Oh man, whatever. And there can be so many things to this, but basically it suddenly happened. But what do you do? So that's kind of also what I help my clients with, actually, to prepare them when it's a bear market. Sure, survive and process the hard times and build skills.
Yeah.
And then when it's going to be good times, that's when the skills should be able to be applied, but also to prepare them when the good time comes. How do you manage that? You know, because
Yeah.
back to the lottery example, many people who actually tend to win a big jackpot, they end up losing it or spending it within a certain years, and then they're back
Yeah.
to scratch, or even worse, now they haven't adjusted their lifestyle to go down again.
Mhm.
So when the money's gone, the lottery amount is gone. Their
Mhm.
life standard is still as high as when they suddenly could see, hey, I can spend whatever, crazy, go nuts, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't decrease it. So now they take loans. So now they actually get in debt because they
Yeah.
couldn't manage the money they got, and when it's gone because they couldn't manage it,
Mhm.
they're even in a worse place than before they even won the lottery. Yeah,
Maybe you
That's
and that
should
can
be,
happen in crypto too.
maybe you should become the financial advisor for the PulseChain community, because yes, you made a great point in there. Great point.
yeah. It's so funny too, because
Thank you.
when I was in college, I had a speech class, and one of the speeches I did was on people who won the lottery, and because there's some research that showed that they actually there was higher rates of depression and suicide attempts for people who won, and that boggled my mind. Like I don't get that, but it's because a lot of what you said. There's eh, the sudden wealth. You all of a sudden you have friends who you didn't know you had, and there's a lot of pressure, and you
Right.
don't really know. Like people think that they're gonna just be different if they just get a lot of money. They're going to be more responsible. They're going to know what to do with it. Like your stress and anxiety is going to go away. But no, the person that you are before you gain all the money is the person that you're going to be with all that money too. So
Yes.
if you had mental illness, if you had emotional problems, those don't just go away. Some things are easier in life for sure, and
Out of
with money,
experience, I think it's gonna make it worse. Honestly.
it can, yeah, it can.
I've seen it. I've seen it with people that was in a certain financial level and then they went up too quickly. Telling you they were not ready. Their mind was not ready. They have the poor mentality on one hand, and on the other hand, very naive. They had no idea and still have no idea all the people that is around them that
Yeah.
are no friends. They have zero interest on them, and they are like super naive. I mean, and like there is a lot of macho misogynist community here in crypto, and they believe like, oh, I'm the winner. You cannot tell me anything. Trust me, I've seen like they put themselves in a lot of risk, and yeah, they start spending money in a lot of unhealthy things. Like that's not.
Well, that's the Richard Hart energy right there. You can't tell me what. I'm a winner. You can't tell me what to do.
A
The
lot
thing,
of that, but there is a
the thing
difference. Like
that's
that's Richard Hart. That's not you.
no. Well, the thing about Richard
That's what
Hart
I'm
though is
saying. That's not them. No, I didn't mean you. I meant them. Don't
yeah,
confuse
yeah, yeah.
Richard Hart with your luck.
No, no,
Let's put
no.
it in that way.
No,
It's
I
like
think
Richard Hart is very intelligent and he knows what
yeah.
he's doing. Okay,
I think
you are you, like you that you just made
yeah,
your money. Sudden
yeah.
money is you. You need a financial advisor, or you need to chill down a bit. Chill out, please.
Well, Richard Hart will have all that energy, very masculine, and I can do what I want, and all the blah blah blah. But the thing is, he also changes his worldview when things don't work out. He's open to changing his perspective. He's not going to keep doing something that's not working.
Because he's
So a lot of people,
an actually intelligent person. When he says I do
yeah,
whatever I want, he doesn't mean that. The hidden meaning of the metaphor of the
yeah,
speaking, of the high level of speaking of intelligent people, many others cannot understand it. They take it literal.
Right.
And it's not like that. That's not how you should take it.
yeah. Yeah. Well, he's got a lot more depth to him, so it's not just that. But because his energy is so big, and he's got a lot of that alpha energy. A lot of guys just kind of hop onto that and run with it. But no, it's good to become a balanced person before you gain all the money. I think will probably help a lot. Is what Daniel's getting at, and
Level of humbleness. Basically, guys, you're great, but you're not Richard Hart. Just be careful.
Yeah. No, none of us are. None of us are.
I wasn't talking about you. I'm talking like in general.
I'm not Richard Hart. No, trust me.
No, when I say you, I'm saying like people in general.
Yeah. Well, one good thing about the community, and I don't know if you guys have noticed it, but I feel like at least the streamers I watch most of the time, they're very good at helping keep people grounded and saying, look, this is there's ups and downs, and this is not a short-term make money thing. This is like you don't know, will the sack wallet be deployed into the chain? Okay, maybe. There's no guarantees, but crypto is volatile. It's up and down, and you have to know, like Daniel, you were saying, the cost of the risk is you have to endure the ups and downs and the stress of that, and it's the uncertainty and not knowing. But a lot of people I've watched a lot of Sami and Coffee and Max and a lot of the streamers they're really good at letting you know that in PulseChain, this is just how it is. And I think that's why the community is still here, because it's not, the people aren't here based on the emotional part of it, because we're down over 90%. So it's not because the prices are amazing. Not because we've,
right.
At least for us new people that weren't in Hex in 21, we're not here because we made all the money then. We're here because this is something, at least for me, I believe in it, and beyond just whatever whatever profit we take at some point.
It's a better option than putting your money in a bank, that's for sure. Well, you can also, but sorry, in Argentina, we have had so many horrible experiences with that. That, when people is like, oh, crypto is a scam, they can steal your money. Have you heard about El Corralito in Argentina?
So a lot of scams there, huh?
Read, fine. Write down El Corralito. If you want, I give you the link. And then you'll see. Banks literally stole the money of everyone in Argentina. Yeah. So they stole it, and then they took years to give it back, and they didn't even give it back in the dollar value. They give it back in the peso value. Imagine you make it easy. You had like $1,000 in the bank, right? To make it easy and small. Instead of giving you back 5 years later $1,000, they gave you back when they decided, okay, because it was just we're deciding not to give you the money back. Imagine you put money in the bank, and they decide. Well, right now, all of the entire country, you guys cannot take your money out from the bank. And everyone has, I don't know, 5,000, 10,000, 100,000, whatever money they have. No.
I think that's what happened in the Great Depression here.
Well, this didn't happen long ago in Argentina. And they took till they decided we're going to return it, 5, 10 years. They were returning it, and not in dollars. They returned it in peso. And not at the value that was. Sorry, I don't know the words in English, but instead of giving you $1,000, they gave you 1,000 pesos. That was giving you $30.
Yeah.
And no one could complain or do
so
anything.
So you're saying that crypto, out of all the scams, is the best scam, better than the other scams. And
it gives you the power to move things around. If you sense that something wrong could be happening, okay? Whereas banks, you don't have a choice. You're done. It is what it is. And people is used to like, okay, you need to trust centralized exchange and you need to put all of your money in there. It's like, okay. And then they say how much interest they're going to give you. It's like,
Yeah,
But
and it's a good
Daniel,
point because I was just wanted to say like that's a good point. Like why stable coins on its own actually has a purpose and a value in Argentina and Venezuela. You know, as the devaluation puts citizens to use stable coins to shield their savings. You know,
mhm.
so this is just without making money, but just to actually maintain the value we have. So that has value on its own. You know.
yeah, I
The
was going to
blockchain.
ask you,
Yeah,
Daniel, isn't all money a scam?
sure, it's
Well,
definitely a
then,
construct.
Yeah.
but why comparing scam with construct? I think they're why are you considering two things are the same thing? What will be your definition of a scam and your definition of a construct? Sorry, I'm like, we're therapists. We like words.
Yeah, yeah, it's a good one. Well, it's a big question, but I mean,
Mhm.
I'm just saying, like, the simple way will still be that um, both things needs to be constructed, right? But one thing is not going to be agreed with most people because otherwise it wouldn't work, right? So the constructed fiat, it only works because the majority buys into it and maintain how the rules
Yeah.
of that
Yeah.
currency works. So we do it, sure. But if we didn't, and only few did it, and suddenly flip everything, it will be a scam, right? A lot of people will get hurt.
Mhm.
So, I mean, without being too
I don't know.
technical,
To me, my concept of scam is when someone steals, like when.
well, that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. If it
Okay.
They
flips
are
the script,
stealing.
right? A lot of people will suddenly get screwed, and many people does.
Well, that's
Still.
what happened with the banks in Argentina. They screw everybody.
Yeah, and
Yeah. Well, you guys
Venezuela
got really
and
screwed.
Lebanon. In Lebanon, the banking system collapsed, you know? So,
Mm.
I mean, I know there's several Middle East countries where USDT, for example, is actually very popular because it actually seems to have more credibility and more trustworth in having the money's
That's
worth.
crazy
Yeah,
because
because they can
it's
feel
a
they can trust
USDT has
the
a
government.
blacklist function on it. That's crazy,
Right.
but that's more trustworthy. Yeah.
I mean, for many average people, yeah, I know several that actually comes from those countries, and they say like, yeah, we use USDT, and it's not only it has a backup, it's starting to become more like
Yeah.
mentally a more safe option for many people.
Yeah.
Again, like you said, Dana, the government has screwed over the people too many times, and that's really, I must say, if I only had to say one thing that really is the true motivation for me in being in the crypto space is the potential of um, the resistance, that people can do with this
Yeah.
technology against the
High
government.
five.
Yeah.
I mean, that is
High
like
five,
the
yeah.
major thing because imagine
Mhm.
for the first time now, most likely it's going to be so hard for the government, even though if you look at the history, pretty much any major governments always
Yeah.
kind of screw over the people and
Yeah.
gather more and more control and more data. Well, suddenly now they have to be transparent, they have to apply for the same rules like there is on the blockchain. Sure, they're going to make their own version, but it's still going to be on the blockchain. So it will be much more traceable than a lot of the other stuff that the government have done during the long time,
Yeah.
that has been
Yeah.
going on. So that is really interesting and exciting because again,
Mhm.
there's also a lot of African countries where there's also a lot of corruption, and
Mm.
they couldn't have their money safe because, well, as corrupt as it is, they could just take it. Well, suddenly, for the very first time, if they actually had the seed phrase at
Yeah.
least
You
just
can't.
let's say memorized, boom,
Yeah. You
the
can't
government
steal
can
it
no
from
longer
their
take it.
brain. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Maybe a
So there is a lot
lobotomy.
of optimism. Yeah. Yeah. True.
We used to do that here, not too long ago in the States. But yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
that's also a big draw for me as well. Is that it's kind of like so not to get political or anything too much, but I watched Tucker Carlson, and he was talking about Donald Trump and why he's so hated and he said, they're saying that he's out of control, but he's really only out of their control. That's why they hate him. And I feel the same way about crypto, is that crypto is not totally in control. The government is not in control of crypto totally. And that's why they hate it, because there is a possibility, especially with something like PulseChain, where you say you can run it on a computer, even if with no internet. And like, that's a big threat. You can't just, make it go away. You know what I mean? There's no off switch. It's math.
Exactly. And plus there's 50,000 something validators on PulseChain. That's quite an accomplishment. Well, it's more than most.
More than that. No?
Well, 46 or 47. It used to be about 50,000, but it's still okay. It's still quite a lot. If you take like stuff like, I think, was it like Binance or Cardano or there was some similar comparisons, but some that have been for quite a while that maybe had like, what was it, like 7,000 and then maybe 21,000. So this is actually a pretty good job still. And we really haven't really performed price-wise. So the good time is still to come. But the infrastructure is there, it seems. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's important, because eventually that is going to be the easiest selling point for most people to trying to actually look into this. Oh, okay, it just launched. Okay.
Yeah.
Like most tokens. Great.
Yeah.
That's
what's great.
Put our trust in that.
PulseChain's been around for a couple of years now, so we have we have history and experience that says, look, there's no one's turned it off. There's been no hacks. Like, this is working out well, and this is why I'm trying really hard now to promote PulseChain as much as possible, because this is like one of those last hopes you have. There can be true freedom and from tyranny. So yeah, I even if I did a video and I said, like, PulseChain won't retire me, and part of it is because I like what I do, so I'm going to keep doing it even if I make money. But also another part is, like, I want to stay in PulseChain. It's decentralized. Like, yeah, I'm sure I'll take some fiat out and buy some things if I get wealthy, but I'm going to stay in there. Like, this is like something that is a vision I see for overall humanity, not just part of my life. So I do really think it's something worth fighting for. And yeah.
It reminded me of something that I read when I had to take the citizenship here in the United States. I don't remember. Checks and balances of powers. What was the phrase? There was a phrase about the check and balances.
Separation of powers, checks and balances.
Exactly. And I feel like in those times when we didn't have technology, like divided in 3 branches, it was like the best it could have been done. And like there are certain things that are considered from the United States in the Constitution super interesting, that are like so criticized all around the world, like the right to bear arms and certain things that I consider great, because historically that meant to give the power to the people. And it was like, okay, we are here ruling for you, but you shouldn't trust so much in us, because we're humans, and all humans are like, how would I say, what's the word? Like flawed, and we can all be greedy. We are like all like yin and yang. We're all good and bad. All of us is in all of us. So this idea of like the bad person, the good person, like, well, there are people that is like more bad than good. Okay, I agree. But in reality, like this idea of decentralized means like we can. It's not because we all love each other and trust each other, but because we are all keeping like we love each other, but we all know our nature, and we're kind of like all checking in each other, and the power is distributed so much that we created a system where we cannot fail to each other. Let's put it in that way, because then we are the one failing to each other, humans, right? And like this idea of a centralized government that is gonna protect us. Oh my gosh, how is that we still are believing in that? How? Makes no sense. Like,
Yeah.
like just learn history. Like, check out
Yeah.
the world. It
It's
doesn't work. It really
that's
doesn't work.
humanity. That's humanity. That's why.
Exactly. We created a system that is the best thing we could have done at the time, but our own very nature doesn't allow us to
Yeah.
be successful at that system. We need something different.
Yeah.
Taking ownership of our true nature. Like we can we're corruptible. We're corruptible. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Hex is trustless yield. You don't have to trust people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, all right, guys. We've gone for over an hour here. It's been pretty fun. Yeah. Any last things that you guys want to say in introducing yourselves, or want people to know about you, where they can find you, anything like that?
No, I think it was a really good introduction. Like next time we can talk about specific topics.
Yeah.
This feel like it was more like a conversation, getting to know each other, letting the community, whomever wants to see us, to like also know a bit about therapists in PulseChain, who we are.
Where can people? Let's see, Dan, where can people find you? At Daniela 3619, is that right?
Yes, Daniela 3619, and my name is Dana 36 as well. That's it. Very simple.
Yeah, on X. You should maybe say.
Yes, on
which
X.
platform.
Of course.
Okay.
On X. On X.
Yeah.
This is the only space on X that I talk about PulseChain. The rest is just like more private.
Yeah. Okay. Daniel at joyfuldanish.com. You have such a positive handle. I love it.
Oh, you can also, guys, whomever is watching, or if you're gonna watch this later, whomever watches this later, you can also come to the PulseChain conferences or any meetup that we do and get to know each other in person. I promise it's really just so much better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, I would recommend it now that I've done it.
Yes. Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's so great. Yeah, it's pleasantly surprising. Most people, it's actually really nice.
And but that's because you guys are in US, correct?
Yes.
Both of you? Yeah. Because I'm in Europe. I'm in Lisbon, Portugal. But there's also crypto meetups here, and I actually do events as well. For example, walk and talks, healthy secrets shared with the crypto people and investors and founders and stuff like that. Because I noticed that that's often also a thing that doesn't really get covered.
Okay.
It always about how can we push and more. It's never enough. But sure. But how do we also take care of ourselves in the meantime? And I thought like, great, that's a perfect topic, to dive into. Like, what's your hacks? What's your longevity? Things you do or whatever. So yeah. If you come to Portugal, Lisbon, hit me up.
Okay.
That's what going on.
I'm gonna be in Europe soon, so
there we go. I know you got a beach house there.
You're welcome. So Joyful Danish. Joyful Danish is the handle on X and on LinkedIn, and most places where you actually can type in one word Joyful Danish. It's usually me then, or just joyfuldanish.com. Yeah.
I'll take your invite. I'm gonna be in Europe in July, so I take your invite. For real.
In July.
You said it, so now it's done.
Well, the sad news is actually that in July, most of July actually, I'm in Denmark for vacation, but I'll be back.
I'll say Europe.
So depending on when you are
just say Europe.
Okay.
It's okay. Don't worry. I'm
then
not
it's still open.
I'm not a stalker, people.
Yeah. Well, if you guys are in California, we can definitely meet up here. So it's
where in California? San Diego?
Southern California, like Orange County.
No, I haven't
Orange County. It's like north of San Diego.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Not too far.
Love San Diego.
Yeah, it's always like 70 degrees here, pretty much. So
Beautiful. Yeah. I
it's
love
you
it
could
there.
go summer, winter, anytime is pretty good here. Um, and I changed at Free Brandon 7. That's my Twitter, YouTube too. This is streaming on YouTube and Twitter right now, or X. I keep saying Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
Never gonna be able to get that out of my head, right?
Next time
Um,
I should put my ex name. Sorry, I didn't realize about this
Yeah.
streaming. Because
That's
they
okay.
usually do like, about psychology or psychiatry topics. So I put my name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess we will do this again, and we'll come up with some more specific topics that we'll touch on, and that we can help out the crypto pulse chain community, and outside of that even too. Yeah, I think this would be really cool.
Yeah,
Oh,
even like one random thought, like as a therapy as a crypto therapist, the AMA something, like as people starting to catch up and then maybe start to interact and ask questions, we can just give our
Yes,
different opinions or
oh,
ideas.
oh, AMA, gotcha. Yeah, ask anything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
ask me anything. Ask us anything.
absolutely. Yeah,
yes,
we have
psychological
enough
support
people. We have enough
group.
people that want that for sure, and you get 3 different opinions. That's
That could
good.
be quite interesting. And free opinions that actually are in
Yeah,
crypto, so it actually knows, okay, where's this question coming from? Okay, right.
it's like pulse
But
chain
yeah, let's
group
see.
therapy, right?
Yeah, exactly. That could be
Oh my God,
something. I think
I
that could have
love
potential.
that. I love
Also
Yeah,
to
that.
de-tabooize the whole mental health thing,
yeah.
simply start talking about it and just let people share. And yeah, we will try to create a
Okay.
space where that can be explored.
Yeah, if enough
That could be
people
interesting.
show up and ask questions, that'd be great.
That could
I'd
be
be down for
interesting.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah. Very
to
cool.
give back, sort of. Yeah,
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
because there's so much going on in the community. So I
Well,
mean,
too. It's weird because in
mm,
some ways there is so much positive emotional mental health stability, and then
mm,
there's another extreme of pulse chain where there are just some absolutely wild bipolar stuff
yeah,
going on. Like people are calling each other retards and fuckface and everything. It
yeah.
gets really crazy. Um,
Yeah,
so
I've
we
been
run
trying
we
to
run the
talk
extremes of the spectrum here.
Hmm. Yeah, I got a little upset about that in a few, how you call, like spaces where you have only audio. But then, it's such a mix of ages. Like then you realize that most of
Yeah.
the guys are talking that way, or like at least a few of that I listen were like in their 20s. So I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
talking to I'm like talking to my nephew friends. It's like, what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
And then yes, more grown-ups that are like, yeah, you shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, no, this would be a good idea. I feel like we could keep talking for hours here.
Not really. It's been
I
an hour,
know.
15 minutes.
But it's probably late where Daniel is. He's probably up at like, what is it, 12, 1?
No, it's not so bad. It's like 9:16
Oh,
in the
okay.
evening.
Oh,
So
okay.
It's 4:16
yeah,
in here in California.
21.
Maybe like
1:16.
1. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lunchtime.
Okay,
Yeah.
lunchtime. Nice. But
All
cool.
right.
Yeah, I could be open for do this again. So sure.
Yeah. Well,
Nice to meet you guys.
yeah, we'll keep talking and figure out something we can do. This was a lot of fun for me. Hopefully you guys had a good time. I think it was enlightening too for anyone watching. So we've got says like 30 people, over 30 people. So that's cool.
Okay, and that's just your channel, right? So there's others that apparently also
Yeah.
restreaming it. Yeah.
I mean,
Hopefully.
it's my first time in here, so I'm sorry. I didn't get to
Yeah.
share the post till like, I don't
Yeah.
know, 30
That's
minutes
okay.
ago.
Right.
Danny, you did great. You did great.
Yeah. It's the
Yeah.
beginning for everything. First
Yeah.
time
Yes.
for everything. It's all
Mhm.
good.
Yeah. I thought it went well. So,
Me too.
Me too. Yeah, and thank you for setting it up, Brandon.
yeah.
And again, thank
Oh,
you for SJ. Yeah.
Yeah.
for
I say
connecting
thank
us.
you very much. Yeah. Hopefully she'll get to watch this if she's not right now. And yeah. And we keep going. We push forward in PulseChain, okay?
Mhm.
All right. You guys have a nice weekend. Thank you everyone who's watching. And apparently we'll be doing this again very soon. So love you all. Be
See
good.
you.
And we'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Happy weekend.
Happy weekend.
Take care.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.